Hey, welcome back to Self-Reliance. Today I'm going to take this steel barrel and turn it into a cache. This is the type that the whole lid comes off like this. You just pull on this lever here, remove this ring, and inside it's been painted food grade, and a little bit of it fell off on the bottom. That's why you can see that steel there, not a big deal. Here's the inside of this. This is a rubber gasket that's going to protect this from the elements and things like that. Purchased this locally for 20 bucks. I've literally been looking for one of these for years. Unfortunately, in Utah, stuff is pretty far apart, so I didn't want to drive super far to get one of these, but found one locally. Super excited. All right, real quick, before we go inside and talk about the items I'm going to put in here, I'm going to be insulating this using some Mylar bubble wrap. This stuff is pretty great. You can get it from the hardware store, and it's used to like insulate houses, things like that. But I'm going to be just shoving this out on the sides here. And this is going to be used to insulate the inside of this. The reason why I'm using this is because this can also double as a sleeping mat. It doesn't have much in the form of padding, you know, this might make pebbles not feel so uncomfortable. But it does insulate you really, really well, actually. So this is just Mylar, like, kind of like space blanket on top of a bubble wrap. Alright, let's go inside, talk about what sort of items I'm going to put in here. Alright, here we are. I've got a bunch of stuff to go through, so I'm going to go through it fast. I'm not going to be including a link down below to any of these items. If you want to know more information about it, please leave a comment. Let's start off with everybody's favorite thing, ammo. So I've got a box of 150 5.56 green tips. I've got about 1,000 rounds of 22. I chose two different brands just in case something was wrong with one or the other. I got these 22. I know 22 is still kind of scarce right now. I got those using Cabela's website. I have a video on that. I'll include a link for that for you guys. I've got this water filter here. This is a interesting water filter. It handles things a lot better than other ones, but it doesn't do nearly as much. I think this does like 50 gallons or something like that. But it's got an iodine tablet in here, and then you suck this direction, and the water goes through the iodine, gets filtered out through this carbon, so it doesn't taste so bad. Pretty cool. I got two of those in here. Some antibacterial wet wipes. These are from the dollar store. I have a lot of dollar store stuff in here, which I'm sure you guys are going to notice. I've got some feminine hygiene pads. These are great not only to keep your wife comfortable, but also to do first aid, things like that. I've got a really nice headlamp here. I like to write the amount of hours and lumens on the bottom of this, so hopefully you guys can see that there. Different amount of hours and lumens, so I know how long of battery life I've got and how bright I can use it. I've got a lot of first aid stuff. Let's start going through that. All right, so I've got quite a lot of children's stuff. I don't have any children right now, but we've got one coming in a couple weeks. A boy. We're really excited. So I've got lots of stuff to deal with them. Just cold and allergy, nighttime cold and cough, multi-symptom fever and flu, acetaminophen, and I've also got some aspirins. This is a chewable. This is a coated kind. You can get the like 120 size bottles that don't have any coating. Those are probably only good for adults because it tastes horrible and you might have a hard time trying to convince a kid to do that. So I got some of these chewables here, some off-brand Pepto-Bismol. I've got a whole bunch of these cold packs here. These are instant cold packs. You just pop them and it cools down to treat something like a sprained ankle, something like that. I've got a whole ton of batteries as well, AAAs. These are all that I got these on some crazy deal, I think on Woot.com or something like that. They have a good deal on batteries every once in a while. These are AA's, got it from the same sale. Got a funnel here. This is not a food grade funnel by any means, but this is good for doing anything with cars or something like that. I've got a big stack of lighters here. All these lighters are the pretty cheap dollar store ones. These are 3 for $1. They work okay. I would prefer Bic lighters, but they're, you know, about 6 times as much as one of these. You can buy a Bic lighter for about 2 of these here. So depends on what you want to do, how much money you want to put in. A lot of this stuff isn't brand new. I guess I should say very small amount of it's brand new. A lot of it's really old, and I'm taking excess things that I've got and putting it up in a cache in case something goes wrong with my house. This is a LED lantern. You just pull it and it turns on and off. That's all there is to it. These are really nice. These runs off of AA's. So I've got 2 of those. Really important to have some good lighting, especially something you can just set to the side and not have to hold in your hands. A headlamp is good for that as well. Couple of face masks. These aren't the highest quality. These are really just dust masks. These aren't good for like any sort of medical thing. I mean, they're better than nothing. I should probably do a video later about the kind of gas mask stuff that I've got. Here's some more first aid stuff. I've also got some little notebooks and pens. The ability to write down stuff I think is really important. Instructions from somebody else, prices or something like that in case you need to come back to your group and talk about buying something. First aid stuff, allergy relief. Some of these are just for comfort. Mucinex, stuff like that. The dollar store had these for $1 for each of these. It was a crazy deal. I bought a whole bunch of them. These are headache reliefs. I've got 200 of these. This is for my wife. This is maybe a year's supply for my wife. She gets headaches frequently, once or twice a week. So that's something that we take into account in all of our preps. We have stuff for her to get, or she gets migraines, sorry. Stuff to treat her migraines because that helps her to be normal, you know. Some of this stuff isn't gonna fix a huge problem, but it's gonna make you be normal so that you can get past what's going on, right? I've got a gun cleaning kit here. This is one of my older kits. It works just fine. I've found some stuff that I like more now, but this works just fine. Just different sized brushes and things like that to clean out guns with. It works fine. Just found something better. I've got several of these ferro rods. I've got a video about these. Probably a lot of you actually came from that video originally. These were $5 on eBay. I just drilled a hole in these myself, and I had the drill in reverse. But drilled the hole in these myself. These are great. All right, let's go do more first aid stuff. I've got a whole bunch of anti-diarrheals here. So this is tablets and then gel capsules and stuff. These are all anti-diarrhea. I think these are going to be one of the most vital first aid preps. Diarrhea is what took out people back in the day with like cholera, things like that, right? They couldn't get the liquids into their body. They couldn't retain that water, and they ended up being so dehydrated they died from it. You know, that's one of the greatest modern inventions, in my opinion, would just be the saline drip. Just getting your body the water it needs so it can fight it off, right? More headache medication. I've got some vitamins in here. These are once-a-day vitamins. These are good to supplement if you're not getting a proper diet. Calamine lotion. These are also from the dollar store. These pads here, these cotton rounds, these are good for making fire starters with wax or just general first aid use. And let me pull some of this stuff out real quick. All right, I've got some random little creams in here, anti-itch, several first aid or triple antibiotics. I think those are probably the most important. Stuff for your eyes, iodine swabs, portable ones. You notice I don't have a ton of this stuff. This is just a small cache that I'm putting together. Hand sanitizers, I think these would be really useful if you're doing some trading or something like that with some people and you don't want to get whatever they've got. You know, a lot of people are going to be sick, and I'm trying to avoid getting sick myself. Here we go, tons of bandages. Most of these are from the dollar store. These ones are all from the dollar store. These are like, I think they say 2 by 3 centimeters or something. Just absorbent pads. Lots and lots of those. We've got some larger pads and stuff is here as well. Some larger band-aids. Some rolls of gauze. And some sutures. I don't know how to suture, but I bet you if I can find a doctor, I bet you a lot of the time they'd probably be willing to work for free or very cheap, but they're probably not going to have any equipment. So if I've got some equipment for a doctor, maybe I can have the doctor do it for me with minimal trade. Some emergency space blankets. These ones work all right. I know there's the new bivy style, and I'd like to try those out. They look like they'd last much, much longer. These ones are kind of a one-time shot. This is a much simpler suture. This is just a staple gun, medical grade staple gun, and it's also got a staple remover. It comes with about 35 of those staples in there. Some elastic bandage wrap, Q-tips. This is good for cleaning firearms, things like that, and some random probably first aid use. Toothpaste, toothbrushes as well. Floss. Got to keep your teeth healthy. Some thicker bandages. These ones are probably for some larger bleeding, you know, quite like a vein or something like that. I don't know, quite arterial bleeding, but definitely a vein or something like that. I've got a bag of zip ties. These things have a million uses. I don't have them in my bug out bag, but sometimes I think about throwing them in there just because they're so easy, but they are a one-time use. Okay, this is my 2-person tent. My wife and I have used this for a couple years. It's got without putting the whole thing together. It's got these wings that come out on the side here so you can have your gear, and then enough room for both my wife and I, and in a cot for one of us. Usually it ends up being me because I'm so much heavier. My back hurts a lot more than hers does. But this tent is great, waterproof. It's got a rain fly all the way to the ground, waterproof. We just purchased a new tent, which we're probably going to be using to do mock bug outs in the future, so you guys will probably see that. New tent, so that's why we're storing our old tent. Taper candles. I don't know what it is today, but candles are pretty expensive, and I think, I don't know, less than 50 cents a piece or something like that. But I'm pretty sure they used to be a lot cheaper than they are now. People just don't use them, and they're kind of a decorative item. Isopropyl alcohol, 91%. At the beginning, when I was doing all this prep stuff, I got lots of 70%. I wish I'd gotten the 91%, just because you need to use less of it. And if you want to water it down or something, you can if you've got like distilled water or something like that. This is a Band-Aid value pack. It's got all sorts of different sizes, and none of these are medicated with antibiotics, but I've got the triple antibiotic ointments. Let's do sleeping bag. So I've got this tiny sleeping bag here. This I got at the stores. I totally misread it, and I thought this was like 18 degrees Fahrenheit. They didn't really label it on the box. They just said 18 degrees, but it was 18 degrees centigrade. So learn that lesson. This is too short for me, but it's a great one for my wife. Works just fine for summer use. Next, this is another sleeping bag. I don't really have this one rolled up just yet. I lost the bag for it, which is one of the reasons why I'm putting it in there. It's not so easy to bring around, but later, you know, I can just throw a rope around it or something like that. It works just fine. A good sleeping bag for summer use. All right, I've got a backpack in here. I do have a couple other smaller backpacks that are currently being used for our baby hospital visit. I'm probably gonna be throwing those in later. This is my old hunting bag. Works great, but I have newer stuff that I prefer. I've got my old Tomahawk in here. This is actually really awesome Tomahawk. I don't know, have mixed feelings about putting it in a cache. I really like it. Got some 750 paracord here, 750 pound test. Really nice poncho, another first aid kit, compass, and emergency space blanket, a couple other things in there. Nothing crazy. This is mostly empty because I'll be using the rest of this stuff if I have to rely on it. A fish fillet knife here. One thing I think we really lack in this cache is probably some good knives. I might have to dip into some other knives that I've got and try and get them in here. But this one's pretty decent, but it's only good for filleting fish. Got some needles as well, so just a couple sewing needles that I had lying around. All right, and one last item. I've got this 5-gallon water container. This is fantastic for storing water. The only problem is you can't treat it or boil it in here. I mean, you could throw some bleach or something like that, which I'll probably be throwing a gallon of bleach in here or something, but you can use this for storing water, but you can't boil it or something like that. I do wish I had some sort of large cooking container or something, like a cast iron pot or something, but I don't have one that I'm willing to spare, so I might have to look around the house and see if there's something that I haven't used in a while and forgot about, and maybe I can throw that in there. All right, I've also got a really large plastic tarp outside, and I'm going to be throwing that in as well. But that's it, guys. I tried to do this pretty quick, so the video isn't too long, but let me know what you think. I'm probably going to think about this some more. Maybe I'll throw in a couple more items, but hopefully this has got some stuff you guys haven't thought about, and stuff you can put in your own cache, store at a relative's house or a friend's house, something like that, to have something to fall back on in case your house gets burned down in some crazy wildfire or disaster or something like that. All right, thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.